Last night, it turns out that several people were denied entry to Box Hill Town Hall in Victoria, where Dan Andrews was scheduled to speak. Despite having valid tickets, some were denied entry, with very few exceptions, were white Australians, according to Morgan Jonas and Chris de Bruin of Chris Coveries. Now, people said that they knew for a fact, because they had Chinese Australian friends who were granted admission, that event staff were indeed allowing in people who had not booked tickets in advance if they happened to be of East Asian appearance. Why the double standard? What's going on with the Labor Party? I'll get you to have a look at this, and then we'll get on with the show proper.
Happy to sign in. They're only allowing people of a very specific archetype in these doors. It's a closed doors meeting.
We're here to attend what's a public meeting, but apparently, if you've got a ticket, because it wasn't valid.
They just said that's not with us. That's not part of this event.
I've got my ticket. I rang up and I confirmed it, and I'm happy to sign in and give my details.
Yeah.
And I'm here to, got this in the mailbox about...
So you got this in the mailbox. Are you local?
Yes.
So is it Matt Gregg, your film?
Local. So I'm here to speak to him.
There you go.
And they still won't let me in to see what he's got to say.
Unbelievable. So locals are getting these in the mail, and they're coming here, registering their name, registering their address, talking to the police, not being allowed in closed doors. Penny Wong, why has Labor been restricting freedom of speech for Australians? Can you answer to that? Why weren't Australians allowed in tonight to this event? Why were only Chinese people allowed in?
What do you think, just as an observer with a lot of experience in researching, what was your take on that short video clip that we saw out of Victoria last night?
Well, I noticed that Daniel Andrews was supposed to be on the bill, and so was Karina Garland. Daniel Andrews is extreme left, in bed with China for a very long time, and Karina Garland is very, very close to the Search Foundation, the continuation of the old Communist Party of Australia. And both of these, what they've been doing is really courting ethnic minorities. And that's part of the reason for the big upsurge in migration during Albanese's term, because the goal is to, as they have done in Canada, to import millions of Chinese and similar people into the country, not because of their race so much, but because of their political affiliation, their political background, their connections to the CCP and other foreign governments. And this is part of the subversive process for turning Australia into a socialist, communist nation. So it was quite interesting to see Karina Garland, Daniel Andrews, and making sure that only ethnic people were getting into the meeting, because the ethnic people are the main target for the left. That's immigration bears that out, but not just immigration. There's two systems in Australia, one for your traditional Australians and one for minorities, and that's always been a part of the Marxist program. You have the old Communist Party of Australia of the 80s now in charge in your country, and they are going to push it as far as they can. They want full-on socialism in Australia, full-on. And they've got their man. If they can get their man back in, you're going to get it. And if you think it's tough now, you wait and see what it's like in 2 or 3 years.
It's a really interesting point you make, because we've only learnt this week that Trump has imposed the tariffs on Australian aluminium and steel, and you would therefore think that that's going to weaken Albanese in the eyes of the electorate in the lead up to the election, and it's given Peter Dutton, certainly the opposition leader, a little bit of chance to have a dig back at Albanese, who's been after Dutton for financial irregularities, if you will. But Dutton's saying he can't even get Trump on the phone, so that looks like politics is all about theatre and optics. It's an incredible scenario that we're in, Trevor.
Look, it's very, very hard to figure this out, isn't it? Just what the games are being played here. But we got to change what we can change, and Australians have an opportunity to change Australia for the better in a couple of months' time. And I put the book out to get as many Australians to understand as possible that if they vote for Albanese, they're not voting for the Labor Party of Bob Hawke. They are voting for a communist party. And if they understood that fact, they would not do it.
Yep,
and so that book's 398 pages or 392 pages, full of photographs, full of communist documents, full of all sorts of evidence that's never been presented to the Australian people. You don't come to a foreign country and tell people their leader is basically a traitor, unless you have the evidence to back it up. And I've had a lot of people proof that book, and nobody's said to me, Trevor, you can't back that up. This is in their own words. These are their own documents. I've done some pretty deep dives on these people, and it ain't just Albanese. It's Bernie. It's a whole bunch of his cabinet ministers. This goes way beyond Albanese. He's just the top of the top of the iceberg, basically.